Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. The just catastrophic fires in Los Angeles continue. They actually have some of them contained and put out, but they're still, the Pacific Palisades fire continues to burn.
11%, yeah.
The Eaton fire continues to burn. So the deaths mount up. 24 at this point that we know of. 24. This is an animation from CBS News showing just how enormous this situation is. This
in
is
the newsroom here have put together this
from
incredible
Saturday.
animation that shows the timeline of how this fire advanced through the communities of Pacific Palisades and Malibu. Here it is, January 7th at 6:17. It was at 2,900 acres.
Oh, man.
And then on January 8th, that explosion to 15,000 acres. And then the next day, 17,000 acres as it progressed into the mountains. And then on the 9th, 19,000 acres. And you can see how far it had gotten into Malibu. And then we come to yesterday at 20,000 acres. And you can see 20 and then to 21,000 acres. But you see how far across it spread, and all the way up to the 11th, which is today at 22,660 acres. This is just information from 7:30 a.m. today.
Wow. Just devastating. I mean, the entire city, pretty much, of Pacific Palisades, that whole area is just gone. The businesses, the homes. There was one mall owner who hired a private firefighting group, and they saved his mall. This was a guy, Rick Caruso, who ran for mayor in 2022, and he's very wealthy. And in fact, one of the things I saw about his candidacy a couple of years ago was him at his mall showing, this upscale area and how successful it was, and that he's this great developer. And so, he protected his stuff. They come in, the private firefighters come in with their own water tanks. And so they just douse everything as soon as it starts. Pretty amazing.
That is. So they must keep that stored up.
Yes.
I just wonder how that works with California regulations.
Yeah.
That's interesting, huh?
It is interesting.
So if you combine all of the fires happening, there's multiple. We're over 30,000 acres burned.
36,000 according to this.
36,000. Oh, wow.
36,000 acres in L.A. County. It's destroyed or damaged. Last I read was 12,000 buildings.
Ugh.
Displaced tens or hundreds of thousands of residents, and has, as we mentioned,
look at that.
Taken the lives of 24 people.
I mean, that I think that graphic, animation from CBS was important, but it didn't show you the entirety, of the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
a lot of territory.
Sure is, man. Look at that. And if you do that, I got that. I made that screenshot off of Google Maps. If I couldn't get it to recreate it, but it actually was showing me at one point where the smoke was over, depending on the wind direction, and half of LA is covered in just that thick smoke.
Yeah, it can't be really good for people to be breathing that. This is an area where masks might be called for. I don't know. I don't know how much they help, but it's really bad there. Really bad. They're moving sporting events. The Rams are playing in
Phoenix tonight.
Yeah.
Their playoff game against the Vikings. So congratulations to the Cardinals. You made it to the playoffs.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Well, to a place where you can watch them more closely from home. So that's great. There was an LA fireman who is anonymous, but he's blasting local leaders who cut the funding to services like firefighting. He said that the lack of personnel and water made fighting the Palisades fire difficult. You think? Yeah. He said that claims that embercast, the wind-blown sparks and embers that carry fires to distant points, were too thick to save neighborhoods, and that they were remote from the initial fire but were destroyed. He said those claims are not credible. He said we could have been deployed. We could have deployed ahead of the fire. We didn't have the resources. We could have saved buildings like Rick Caruso did. They say the ember cast was too thick. Palisades units didn't have the resources or water to protect even Ralph's, which is a grocery store, across the street from a fire station. It burned to the ground.
Oh, my.
That's how bad things were. Wow.
Wow, what you're saying really puts this next clip into perspective with the LA fire chief being interviewed. I mean, the city leaders and the fire department are really starting to turn on each other for sure.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing here because nobody wants to take the blame for this. Yeah. And so they're all pointing at the other person. But here is the LA fire chief who was interviewed over the weekend.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city?
It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job, and I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes, she's saying yes. Yes, there you go.
Chief Kristen Crowley, I believe the anchors wanted to ask a question back there. Had some comments.
We do, Gigi. If you could please ask her regarding the Times article that came out that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was closed to repairs and it was empty. 117 million gallons of water could have been used in this fight.
The question is about the Santa Ynez Reservoir being empty. There's been a lot of questions about that.
Sure. So my stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants.
Okay, you
Please
should
defer that to DWP or whomever controls that part. But I can tell you the resiliency of our firefighters, if there's no water, they're going to go find water. They're going to figure out a way to do the best they can with what they've got in a very dynamic situation.
And I know you expressed concerns that those DWP hydrants would not be inspected thoroughly because of the budget cuts.
That is something to discuss, and we're going to look into that in regard to how we can ensure there's going to be water when we need it. But in the end, I'm going to defer that to DWP and whomever else controls the supply. I can guarantee you that when our firefighters showed up on that day with what they had, they did absolutely everything they could do to rescue and to save people's lives and property. And that's the bottom line. Now let's get them what they need to do their jobs.
Let's get them water, Chief, because I was with your firefighters and they literally were watching a house burn down with pain in their eyes, not being able to do anything except pull water from a swimming pool to try to save a nearby structure that wasn't burning, and literally watching a house burn to the ground because they had no water.
That's exactly right. But did they continue to work? And did they continue to do what they had to do the best they could with what they had? Yes.
Chief, follow-up. Thank you very much for talking to us. We appreciate it. I believe we have a follow-up question from the studio.
Question on that reservoir issue. Is the fire department aware of when these resources are depleted?
Listen to this.
Just like that reservoir had no water. Was she aware of that fact, that it was under construction and there was no water there?
Sandra Endo, one of our anchors, wants to know if the department is advised that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was going to be emptied. Were you aware that there was no water there?
No, we weren't aware of that.
They don't have to advise you?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
So you had no idea that there wasn't...
She didn't seem aware of a lot of things.
Such needed resource?
No, we weren't.
All right.
This city
Chief
is.
Kristen Crowley.
This is
All right.
hapless town,
My gosh.
Los Angeles.
This is the second largest city in the United States of America.
The third worldification of America is well underway.
Pretty important place. You wouldn't think this is possible, and yet here we are.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just from the top down. There's just such incompetency on display.
Yep.
I was reading this post from a lady over the weekend that said, I just got my third evacuation notice. The first two ended up being mistakenly sent. So now I don't even know whether to evacuate or assume this one is also yet another mistake. They're causing mass panic and chaos. This is completely unacceptable.
Interesting story here about a guy who ignored the evacuation orders. Lived in Pacific Palisades, 65 years old. His name is John Carr, and he lives in this house that was passed down to him by his parents. And it's one of just a handful of properties that is still standing. Why? Because he ignored the order, and he went out with his garden hose and put out the fires that started to pop up all around him.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Difficult. He doused himself to be less, to be more fire retardant. He doused his home. And then whenever anything popped up anywhere near that he could get to, he'd put out that fire. Did it for his neighbors, did it for himself, and he saved his home and several neighbors' homes.
Wow.
He said, the house was built by my mom and dad in 1960, and I lived there my whole life. So there's a lot of memories here. And I think I owed it to them as well to try my best to save it. And he did. But it's an interesting indication of what could happen if, you had the resources. They could have avoided all of this. They could have gotten ahead of this thing and put out fires where they popped up. They just didn't have the manpower or the water to be able to do it. Really, really tragic. And then you've got millionaires who are shelling out $2,000 an hour for private firefighters to guard and protect their homes and their businesses. And people are all pissed at them. Why? Are you kidding me? I don't understand that. If I had that kind of money, I would absolutely invest it in saving my home and my family.
Really?
But think about it. Let's say you have private firefighters on site, and it's $2,000 an hour, and you're a multimillionaire. Are you going to invest? Let's say you have to have them there for a day. You got them there for 24 hours. What is that? That's $48,000 to save a $5 or $10 or $20 million home. That's a bargain. I'm doing that. If I have that kind of resource, I'm doing that. And I don't care what people say on Twitter about it.
Yeah, to quote Matt Gaetz, be offended.
Right.
And by the way, going back to that interview, I just Googled it, and according to the LAFD is responsible for inspecting fire hydrants citywide, and if they need to be repaired, they tell the Department of Water and Power, and they repair them.
You would think that maintenance of the fire hydrants would include making sure there's water in them.
That's what I thought, too.
You would think.
Maybe if you go and test it, Chief, and there's no water coming out, you figure out why, and then you go, well, they should have told us about the reservoir then.
I mean, she seems to have a right to be angry and frustrated, but it also seems like she didn't have a lot of knowledge about the way things work. And you would think a fire chief probably should.
Be curious about where the water comes from. Right?
Yeah.
If you're the fire chief, I would think that that's on your list of things to just know.
Just makes you wonder if she's a DEI hire as well.
Do you have to wonder, or
you have to wonder?
Okay.
You have to wonder. I don't know. It's agonizing, frustrating.
But Gavin Newsom's pretty good, though. The governor.
He's great. Yeah, he's really good.
He is something else.
He's been getting a little bit of criticism, including from President-elect Donald Trump, which he addressed over the weekend.
President-elect Trump has blamed you for this crisis. He called you incompetent. What's your response?
Well, I called for him to come out, take a look for himself. We want to do it in the spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full. The state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us.
Let's do this.
Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation to understand what was happening with that local reservoir.
Okay,
that
so
was
what
not
you
a
just said was a lie.
System reservoir, which the president-elect was referring to as it relates to the Delta and somehow connecting the Delta smelt to this fire, which is inexcusable because it's inaccurate, also incomprehensible to anyone that understands water policy in the state.
So he's blaming the city. It's like, okay. It's not my fault.
And global warming. Don't forget about that. The Delta smelt has nothing to do with it, but global warming sure does.
Delta smelt. Every time I hear that fish's name, I think whoever dealt it, smelt it. Or smelt it, dealt it, whatever. I mean, that's what it reminds me of. But that guy right there is such a smarmy SOB, talking about how we need to come together and we need to blah, blah, blah. Just the other day, they opened up a special session that he called to specifically geared toward stopping Donald Trump. I mean, okay there, Gavin.
The worst.
He is.
All right. Here's an interesting question, considering the circumstances. Are you being lied to? Yes. We all know that, right? They tell us that we should be saving our 401ks. We should save in an IRA to defer taxes because you'll retire in a lower tax bracket. But if that were true, why are so many retirees now in the highest tax brackets of their lives? It's time to get the truth and discover a better way to grow and protect your money. It's called Bank on Yourself, and it's a proven retirement plan alternative that banks and Wall Street hope you never hear about. It offers guaranteed, predictable growth with no losses. When the markets tumble, your principal and growth are locked in, so you don't have to worry about market crashes taking a bite out of your savings. With Bank on Yourself, you'll enjoy tax-free retirement income. Under current tax law, you'll know what your tax rate will be in retirement because it'll be zero. That's a huge advantage as you avoid the risk of rising taxes in the future. You'll also have full control of your money. You can access it whenever you need with no penalties, no restrictions. And when you use it, it keeps growing like you never touched it. Plus, your money is protected against inflation. It's guaranteed to grow by a larger dollar amount every year, no matter the economic climate. If all this sounds good, get a free report on it. Read up on it right now. You can bank on yourself and enjoy tax-free income, guaranteed growth, and complete control over your money. Just visit bankonyourself.com/unleashed. That's bankonyourself.com/unleashed.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
Gavin Newsom also said something interesting about what might happen to some of the burned properties in California once the crisis has passed.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
Wait, so you're moving ahead on a plan to buy up the property? Is that what you're saying?
Boy, can we put
Did you say that improperly? Or yeah, we haven't even put the fires out yet.
Play that again and look at his body language too.
Crazy.
What's this weird rock like? I mean, this is Maui 2.0. Look at how
we're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just.
Great.
That is an interesting statement.
It's a government land grab.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
This California.
That's what it sounded like.
Sure did.
Unless he just phrased that really badly.
That's right.
Wow. Huh.
I don't like it.
Jillian Michaels apparently is no fan of Gavin Newsom.
That's the part that outrages me. Oh, this is unprecedented. No, it's not unprecedented. I mean, California burns down every
year.
Single year.
Yep, thank you.
What do you mean you're going to do better next time? That woman in tears saying to the governor, is it going to be different next time? Oh, it has to be. It needed to be different this time, Gavin.
Right.
And There's simply no excuse. I really don't even believe you can blame it on incompetence because there's already a mandate. For example, in 2014, Proposition 1 passed that put billions of dollars towards building new reservoirs. That's already in place. Not one has been built. There have been calls for controlled burns for decades. We did them historically throughout my entire childhood and young adult life in California. And now we've stopped because I'm not even quite sure. It could be the cost, I've heard. It could be environmental pressures. It could be both.
Wow. Jeez.
California. What is the 28 Olympics? Is Los Angeles? Oh my gosh.
Think so.
Oh boy.
It will not be rebuilt by then.
We are not the incompetence is just,
it's mind-numbing.
And she's right. It's decades long.
Yeah.
Policy that is doing this. And I mean, thank you for Mexico for sending firefighters. Sincerely, thank you. But boy, doesn't that just speak volumes when, like you said, the second largest city in the United States is having to lean on help from Mexico. I mean, that's okay.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, there they are arriving. How many did they send, Chris?
A full C-130. So
wow. Thank you.
How many is that? Like a couple hundred?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we could use all the help we can get right now.
Yep.
Apparently.
And you guys see that Oregon sent firefighters and they got stuck in San Francisco because they had to get emission tested.
Well, I think I was looking into that. Yeah, that's how it was reported originally. But I think it was like a check their brakes type thing. I think they let them come through. But I think that's how it was reported.
It'd be so typical, though.
It would absolutely be on brand for California.
I mean, come on.
That they're more liberal than Oregon with their standards.
Yeah.
And so we can't let you come all the way through. But no, you're right. They did get held up, Chris, just to make sure that the trucks that we're allowing to come and help, they better be in top shape or we're going to turn you around.
Well, and the emissions. What do they pass an emissions test? We don't know.
Exactly.
We don't know until we test them all.
Then they got to sit there and wait for the sticker.
They got to wait for their sticker to come.
Right. Do they have their registration with them? I don't know. What about their insurance? How about your proof of insurance?
Yeah.
We better keep them here for a few days, maybe a week, and look into this.
Tell you what, we're just going to go home.
I mean, that's what would happen.
Oh, yes.
Just unbelievable. Meanwhile, at the California State House, they got a special session taking place, but not to deal with the fires. Don't get excited. It's not about that.
Good morning, members.
Despite several empty seats in the chamber because of the LA wildfires, the Democratic State Assembly gaveled into its special legislative session to prepare for incoming President Donald Trump.
I'd ask that you keep in mind
Governor Newsom called the special session shortly after the election. As fires raged in Southern California, state lawmakers still prioritized their anti-Trump work. They established a committee and set a hearing for the legislation that sets aside $25 million to prepare for legal battles with the incoming administration.
I'm here to address this.
Wow. So
Democratic Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas.
You imagine? They've called a special session.
Yeah.
They're not allocating extra money to fight this fire.
Yeah.
That's not even an issue for them.
We'll get to that.
They're trying to fight Donald Trump.
Yeah. There's a lot of issues there. Like, first of all, where does California get an extra $25 million to throw at lawsuits against an administration that hasn't done anything to them yet? When maybe somebody could raise their hand and go, could we put that $25 million toward... And of course, they don't have to because Joe Biden has promised 100% reimbursement.
Nice, yeah.
North Carolina. How does that taste? Oh, my gosh.
All right. I'm sure there's more here.
I'm here to address this.
Democratic Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas didn't want to talk about it afterward.
Didn't he? And we have that clip. You got to see his afterward.
I could take a couple of questions. I do have to jump on a call here.
With that, I mean, with what you just mentioned and kicked off here, is now the right time to have a special legislative session on allocating money to fight Trump in a way that you could already do without a special legislative session?
So I'm here to address these wildfires. This is a historic wildfire. This is a historic event. These wildfires, as I mentioned, are going to be quite possibly some of the worst wildfires and disasters in state and
So
get on it.
While this wildfire is happening, and while people are trying to understand what's going on and are worried about disaster relief, worried about the ability to get homeowners insurance, your chamber gavelled into a special legislative session to prepare for Donald Trump in a way that you are already able to do without a special legislative session. So
I got to get on a
it's
call.
now the right time for that.
Got to get on a call.
So certainly our focus right now is Speaker Ashley. At this moment, my colleagues and I, we are acting with great urgency to ensure that we're providing much needed relief to Angelenos, to ensure that we understand what it's going to take for that.
Except that's not what you're doing there.
And to support those that have been most impacted.
Unbelievable.
The response from our first responders has been unprecedented. And they're doing all that they can to control and contain these multiple fires. They're doing whatever they can to ensure that that they're keeping people safe now.
Read it.
And again, in anticipation and in preparation for recovery. And as a state, as a legislature, we will do everything we can to support that recovery.
It's mind-numbing.
Yeah, you throw these Marxists a curveball when they have to go off script and the teleprompter isn't there. I mean, like Karen Bass at the airport in Britain.
Yeah.
It's like, could you not even just say, hey, we're thinking about you, I'm rushing back home? These people aren't human.
Nope.
And by the way, we have some contact info. If you would like to reach out to Karen Bass, the L.A. mayor, there's her phone number, 213-978-0600, or California Governor Gavin Newsom, 916-445-2841. Be sure to tell them what you're thinking these days.
Of course, just like Robert Rivas, the Speaker of the House, they'll just stand there and tell you, I am not here. They'll just lie to your face or to your ear, whatever. I am not here right now.
Man.
No, I'm looking right at you, Speaker Rivas. I'm looking right at you. No, you're not. I am not here.
Man, the stories coming out of there are just so tragic.
It is.
You hate to see this happening.
There's just no words to sum up how tragic this is, how catastrophic it is, and how frustrating. Dozens of celebrities, of course, have lost their homes, but it turns out the home of actor James Woods actually did survive.
Yeah.
Wow, good.
Right.
Here he is showing how fine a line it was between survival and devastation.
One side is perfection.
Oh, wow.
The other sheer devastation.
My gosh.
I mean, just right there at the street.
Jeez.
One side is perfection. The other sheer devastation.
Oh, that is... Oof. Mel Gibson was in Texas when the fire got to his neighborhood.
Yeah, I want to play that for the break. It's a pretty long clip. But,
it is? Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to tell you there, James Woods, he posted that clients of our friend were trying to lease a house while their home was being renovated. The lease was for $18,000 per month. First of all, I can't wrap my head around that. Right. $18,000 a month for rent.
What is that? Does that seem steep to you, or?
No,
or
it's too cheap.
Really affordable.
Really affordable.
Okay, that's
heck of a deal. Mm-hmm. They were to sign the papers the day of the fire. Now the people renting want $30,000 per month instead of the original agreed upon $18,000. The looters are in full force. They've arrested, I think, 30 people dressed as firefighters that were looting. I mean, it's just
they need to be shot on sight. That's just where I stand on it.
No argument from me.
When you're taking advantage of people's tragedies like this, you're a despicable human being and you deserve to go down. Sorry, got you in the act. We're shooting you on sight. And that's what they should be told so that they don't do it. You can't take advantage of this crisis. One of the worst in American history, at least as far as property damage. I mean, we're nowhere near worst of all time when it comes to death toll, but it's still Still 24. That's 24 too many. Just really painful. This is really, really sad. And it's going to be so hard to rebuild all of this.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't be able to. They just won't be able to rebuild their homes because they got them a long time ago, and now they don't have current market money in order to rebuild. Really tragic. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets here from Unrepentant Thought Criminal. Oh, before I get to that, we just on a personal note say that prayers for Glenn Beck would be very much appreciated today. He's got a little bit of a health issue going on, and so I'll be filling in for him today. And if you could say a prayer for him and his health and his quick recovery. He's got some pain in his leg, and I think he mentioned it on the air that what the deal was that he found in Idaho, and he was taking some blood thinners for it, but problem hasn't gone away, so they're looking into it deeper right now. So if you could, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers today. From Unrepentant Thought Criminal, Gavin Newsom spent California taxpayers' money to Trump-proof the state, and now he's inviting Trump to visit California. Yeah. I don't think the invitation was super sincere.
No,
but yeah. From Giblets at Hogasm, a C-30 will hold 64 combat-ready U.S. paratroopers. So 200 Mexican firefighters seems about right. See, because they all stuff themselves into like the. Where they're coming here illegally in the back of a tractor trailer. Yeah. See what
they're coming to help, though.
They're coming to help, right? Yeah. Thank you, Keith. That's right. That's right.
They didn't want to send another plane, so they're all packed into one. That's very efficient of them.
So you didn't know the 64 combat-ready U.S. paratroopers fit into the C-130?
We
Chris,
fit in more than that. We fit in more than that. We fit like 2 flights. Which is a lot of people.
A lot of people. Convenience store drone tweets San Francisco asking the important questions. Are the incoming fire trucks ADA compliant? Do they have fat guy seating and wheelchair ramps? Yeah, you have to know those things before you allow them to come help put out fires that could save lives and property.
I bet it was a smog check, and then when that went public, Chris, I bet that's when it was. I bet that's the only time that they stopped and they were like, no, it was a safety inspection.
What do they call that in Texas? The Texas two-step that you have to do it every year. It used to be every 2 years. Now you have to go every year, and you have to check the emissions and the safety on it.
It used to be you'd have to just go. Right? Yes. And then they would give you a sticker for that month.
Yeah.
So I would go on the first of the next month, straight to the mechanic to get it inspected. Yeah. And then then my sticker would be for that month that the first was. So I'd get 13 months out of the deal instead of 12. Can't get away with that scam anymore because now they just mail it to you. And
I mean, it's Texas, too. This should not be happening here. We shouldn't have these kinds of... irritating little regulations.
They've changed it to it's only the big metro areas now.
Yes, like Tarrant County.
Of course. Exactly. So it's us.
Yes. By the way, it's us. Is more than 70 Mexican firefighters. So that little
more than 70.
That little 60 thing that you said.
Glad you found that because I could not follow what you were saying.
ABC 7.
Okay, so 70.
Okay. Do we have an image? We have a space image, don't we?
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. That's from space. Oh. That's an actual satellite photo?
Yeah.
That's not animation, right?
No, PBS posted this.
Look at that.
Horrific.
That looks like all of Southern California is on fire.
And I was going to,
like a movie. Again, it looks like a movie.
I was going to say that it's like the mountains stopped it. But really, that CBS animation we showed no, it was crossing the mountain.
No, yeah. It goes right up the mountainside. That's really horrible. Mel Gibson was traveling in Texas, I mentioned, when the fire got to his neighborhood. I think he lost his house, did he not?
He did. In fact, he was here for the Joe Rogan podcast, and he said at the beginning I don't know if I'm going to have a house when this is done.
And apparently he doesn't.
Yeah.
When he returned, he shot this video and gave an interview by phone.
And Mel joins me by phone right now. Mel, I am so sorry to be talking to you under these circumstances. I'm looking at video of the ruins of what was once your home. I got to ask you how you're doing.
I'm doing good. It's just a thing. But, it is obviously, it's kind of devastating. It's emotional. You live there for a long time, and you had all your stuff. You remember George Carlin talking about your stuff? Yeah. I had my stuff there, and it's all like, I've been relieved from the burden of my stuff because it's all in cinders.
Yeah. Where were you, Mel, when the fire broke out?
Gosh, I was in Austin. I was doing the Rogan podcast, and I was kind of ill at ease while we were talking because I knew my neighborhood was on fire. So I thought, I wonder if my place is still there. But when I got home, sure enough, it wasn't there. I went home and I said to myself, well, at least I haven't got any of those pesky plumbing problems anymore.
When did you drive up? Did you take this video that we're looking at?
Yeah, I was taking some of it. Rose took some, and the chickens survived. It was amazing.
That is.
The chickens poop, and they were fine. So we gave them some grain and some water, and they're happy and laying eggs and stuff. So there you go. They weren't Rose chickens.
And where was Rose during all of this? Was she with you in Austin? Or?
No, we evacuated. See, I left on a plane, and the winds were picking up, and I went to Austin, and of course. While I was gone, whenever I leave town, a fire breaks out. It was the same last month. I mean, it was the same thing. The flames were like 200 yards away from my house. But this time they came from the other direction and really nailed me. And I have never seen a place so perfectly burnt. It is like, it's kind of, you could put it in an urn,
Yeah, there is nothing there. What about the rest of the neighborhood, Mel? Your neighbors, the people you've lived next to for quite some time, how did they fare?
Yeah, some of the neighbors really got it hard. I know, Ed Harris, the actor who lives down the street, I think his place is gone, and many of my friends up and down the street. And it was kind of random. It wasn't every place, but it was quite a few places. There was a dozen places or so that were just non-existent. I mean, nothing but a chimney and a few roof tiles, and you dare not walk around for the nails and the whole deal. The vehicles were gone, everything. It was completely toasted. I've never seen such a complete burn. It's like someone did it on purpose to really destroy every aspect of it.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot where just the fireplace is left. That's the only thing left standing because that's kind of built for fires. To resist them. And so you see chimneys all over the place in Los Angeles, and that's it.
Man, I mean, just his frame of mind.
Yeah, he seems to be in pretty good spirits. He can afford, he's probably staying at the Beverly Hills, Wilshire, or whatever, the Beverly Hills Hotel, and, $1,000 a night place.
So you're saying that on the Rogan podcast, which I listened to, where he talks about, basically overcoming and using your mind to kind of relieve stress. You're saying that's less of a factor in his disposition after the fire than the money that he has in the bank.
Yeah, I'm saying that the money adds to the attitude.
Yes.
Ease. If you just lost everything you own and you're not a multi-millionaire, if you're not worth $100 million, then it's a little bit tougher to deal with.
It hits home.
Yeah, it sure does. But even, I have a lot of sympathy for Mel Gibson. I think it's great that he's able to handle it that way because it's still horrific. It's still terrible. I'm not trying to minimize the plight, but it is nice that he's got the means to rebuild, and he's got the means to stay at a nice place in the meantime. So it's a little bit tougher for like that guy who said that he was saving the parents, the home that he grew up in and was his parents' home, and they left it to him, and they bought it in 1960, and it was probably $15,000 or $20,000 in 1960, and it's probably worth $5 million now.
Right.
So
and probably not going to get that.
No, and you're probably not.
And state of California, if Gavin Newsom is correct, is going to ride to the rescue with a check.
Right.
I don't know where they're going to get the money, but boy, when they resell your property.
Yeah, they're going to get it from us.
Going to get it from us, and
it's
then
going to be taxpayer dollars.
Resell it. Maybe it'll help with their debt. I'm sure there's nothing nefarious being planned out as we speak.
No.
From those.
I don't even know why you would bring that up. That's weird.
Since everything burned down at Mel Gibson's house, I would love to know, does he get like a new Oscar since it melted?
Oh.
Does he get like
no,
a
because
new
he's Mel
Golden
Gibson.
Globe?
Anybody else, they would. But
that is true.
They gotta be not. Yeah,
they don't like him anymore.
Oh, darn. So he lost the Oscar and the Golden Globe.
Oh, the Golden Globe. Irreplaceable.
That's like getting a participation trophy. Yep. All right. 888-900-3393. We've got lots more to talk about coming up. But as we step into 25, it's a good time to reflect on everything we faced last year. Hurricanes, wildfires, global conflicts, supply chain disruptions. These events remind us that emergency situations can strike when we least expect it. So it makes it crucial to be prepared. That's why this year I'm making emergency preparedness my New Year's resolution. And it starts with the Jace case. It's one of these. It's a game changer. It's an emergency medication kit. It contains 5 life-saving antibiotics that treat the most common and dangerous bacterial infections. The best part, with one simple online evaluation, you can have it delivered right to your door, ensuring that you and your family are prepared for the unexpected. What makes Jace case stand out? It's doctor-created, recommended, and fully customizable. You can add essential medications like ivermectin, EpiPens, and many other options for complete peace of mind. Plus, you can get ongoing consultations and care, so you're never alone in a crisis. Don't wait for disaster to strike. Go to jace.com, use the promo code PAT, and get a discount on your order. That's P-A-T, PAT, at J-A-S-E, jace.com. Be prepared, and stay safe.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Elizabeth Warren posted something on X that was quickly fact-checked. She posted this: to help support the communities around L.A. being devastated by wildfires, you can split a donation between the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation and United Way of Greater Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
100% of your donation will go directly to these organizations. Doesn't seem to be true.
That's kind of cool. Wait, what?
Community Notes stepped in with this little gem. This is not a link to a charity. It is a link to a Democrat fundraising platform. They take 3.95% of all transactions.
Oh, no.
She just said 100% goes. No, 96%.
Yeah, and look at that. Look at that. It's a link to Act Blue.
My gosh.
Come on.
That is pathetic. Now, you might say, oh, that's not much. They're just taking 4%-ish. But
not 100.
It's not 100. They're lying, as they always do. She's lying.
So when she said you could split it between the LAFD Foundation and the United Way.
And the Democrat Party.
She should have added, and the Democrat Party.
Right. Just another piece of dishonesty from our leaders. Just another stinking lie. Yeah, jeez. But it doesn't matter. That's fine. Don't worry about it. 2 actors are claiming that if you oppose Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass during this crisis, it's because she's a black woman.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a racist.
Boy, it took us a long time to get here.
Yeah, but fortunately we got there. They claimed that she's only facing backlash because of her race. It has nothing to do with the drastic cuts to the fire department or the policies of city officials and state officials that led them to run out of water. Act Your Age co-stars Yvette Nicole Brown and Kim Whitley. It should be Kim Whitless, but that's a different issue. They defended Bass as calls for her removal from office skyrocketed on Saturday. They put out a petition, and they have over 100,000 signatures already.
Wow.
In like 2 days or something. They collected over 100,000. But these two actresses say she's got a spine of steel. And she's been a black woman in America for a really long time. None of this is new.
Okay, I see what we're doing here.
All right. She's lived in Los Angeles for nearly 3 decades, but couldn't recall another mayor facing the same scrutiny.
Wait, hold on. I don't recall the city burning to the ground when Willie Brown was mayor.
No. No.
Okay.
Of course, Willie Brown was San Francisco, right?
Yeah,
so
Jerry
that was
Brown.
500
Jerry
miles
Brown.
away.
No,
Jerry
he was San
Brown
Francisco too, wasn't he?
Was
it with the?
I don't know. He was
Browns?
governor of California. Was he also mayor before that?
He
might have been.
I think he might have been Oakland.
Might have been.
Hell, I don't know, man. But I just don't recall a situation quite like this in the past.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
She said, we have fires every year, and I don't remember in the almost 30 years that I've lived in L.A., I've never seen anybody react like this to the mayor and blame one person for a natural disaster.
Okay, natural.
First of all, she was in Africa when this was going on. Last week, she was in Africa after saying she wouldn't do any international trips like this. When she was applying for the job, when she was running for mayor, she wasn't going to go to international destinations. She was going to focus on Los Angeles. Oh, okay. Oh, jeez. So what's different this time? Yeah, that she's black. That's the only reason anybody's upset with her. It's pathetic. Everything has to be racially motivated. Like we're living in 1948. It's not 1948. Okay? We don't care what the color of her skin is or even her gender. I don't care. Just do your job and make sure that you're prepared for disasters like this. And again, it's not like it's never happened before. We have fires in the area every single year. This one happens to be in different areas and more severe to structures than usual. But there's been enough problems in Southern California with fires that you should be a little better prepared than this. So on Friday, we mentioned how neighbors took down a suspected arsonist. We actually have the video of that now, right? Here's citizens taking down a would-be arsonist.
All right. Look at that, huh? Look at what's in his hand. It's like a propane torch of some sort.
Gosh.
And by the way, his name is, that's Mr. Climate Change.
Mr. Climate Change?
Yeah, because that's what started the fires. Climate change is okay. That we don't need that picture right there at all. But so he was arrested, like you said.
Yeah,
and then
they did a citizen's arrest on him.
Yeah, they've already let him go. It's not.
Oh, you're kidding.
We don't have evidence. We don't have enough evidence.
But the video.
Wow. Yeah,
we got the video of him. Yeah,
he's just holding a blowtorch.
Because a neighbor just saw him trying to.
That's just for fun.
Start a fire there in the neighborhood, but we don't have enough evidence to hold him. So
incredible. I was just reading that homeless people are responsible for about 50% of these fires.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's videos out there of people recording, purportedly, people that are trying to start fires. I mean, such a far way away. I don't know how much, if any of this is natural, but boy, there's some bad things happening.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here.
I am.
On the Blaze Radio Network.
And so are you. Welcome to it. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Oh, on Friday, the big sentencing came down from Juan Marchand. President-elect Donald Trump will face no jail time and no financial penalties. Doesn't that tell you this was all political? This was all motivated by just trying to besmirch his name?
Yes.
Radical Democrats have lost another, here's what he wrote, have lost another pathetic un-American witch hunt. He put that up on Truth Social. Today's event was a despicable charade. And now that it's over, we will appeal this hoax, which has no merit, and restore the trust of Americans in our once great system of justice.
I don't know. I say keep that title of convicted felon. I think it's awesome, man. That's some street cred right there.
And I don't think he minds it that much,
No.
really. He's a felon for supposedly paying off a woman. I mean, since when is that a felony? First of all. And I guess if you proved that he used campaign funds to do it, which he didn't, and they did not prove that, then it'd be a problem. But that doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, the whole thing was ridiculous from the start. We got some tweets here. Kenneth Parker tweets, my theory on how looters got firefighter uniforms, LA donated to Ukraine and Ukraine sold them on eBay. It could be. Wouldn't surprise me. From Sarah the Band, with all the heartbreak due to the fires, it's nice to see a celebrity who's thankful through tragedy. Gibson has a grateful heart. That matters. From Mindy, new scum is stating that Biden is providing California immediate help to rebuild, while devastated areas of North Carolina and surrounding areas are living in tents, trying to keep from freezing to death. In overtime today, we have some video out of North Carolina that we got to show you. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and here, let's see. So this is the latest. 126,000 homes destroyed, 104 confirmed deaths, $60 billion in damages. That's Western North Carolina. 126,000 homes destroyed.
Wow.
And you don't even hear about it at the end of a newscast.
No, you don't at all. I mean, it's 12,000 buildings in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
126,000 in North Carolina.
104 confirmed deaths. I don't know how many are still missing in North Carolina.
Wow.
And FEMA, Mercury One, God bless JP and the team over at Mercury One, that the 11th hour are funding these hotel stays because Joe Biden's FEMA is kicking everyone out. Time to go.
Hard to believe. Just incredible.
They have.
You can't make this stuff up.
I know, man.
Nobody would believe you if you made this stuff up. Hey, when there's a massive disaster in the southeastern United States, and it gets really cold in the winter, FEMA's just going to kick people out of shelters. Would you have believed that? Like, I don't know, a couple of years ago? I don't know that I would have. They're that heartless? No. Come on. But it's happening. At a gathering last week with government officials, Joe Biden said this as he handed over the meeting to Kamala Harris. This is good stuff here.
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the president throws it to the vice president.
If that was Trump?
Oh, yeah.
Fill in the blank. But if that was Trump.
Yeah, right. And boy, and she even gave him a look like
what's the matter with you, old man?
You sure you want to use that?
Yeah. What are you, stupid?
Yes.
Are you really going to ask that? Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, can you just imagine? And Ron DeSantis was saying this. If this was a Republican governor doing this in California, this kind of level of incompetency, oh my gosh!
I know.
Oh, would we not hear the press would be all over, time to resign, get out, Republican governor. But there's power in the D, as we know.
How about some good news, though? Biden will be out of office forever 1 week from today. Okay, 7 days left. 7 days left. This can't happen a moment too soon.
Yep, it's 172 hours. Let's see, 72.
In a week?
171. I'm sorry. 171 hours, 54 minutes, and 30 seconds. Mark.
Okay.
But who's counting?
Apparently we are and have been for some time.
Yeah, where's our little graphic up there that says 7 days?
I forgot to make it.
What?
And I just made it. So, Joe, it's in the folder.
That's awesome.
Speaking of Joe Biden, Mark Zuckerberg was on with Joe Rogan last week. And here's what he had to say about the Biden administration and how they would bug Facebook and Instagram during the COVID era.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and
scream at them and curse. And it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Oh, did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there. And they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They wanted us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, like this sort of like class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true. And then at some point, I guess, I don't know, it flipped a bit. I mean, Biden, when he gave some statement at some point, I don't know if it was a press conference or to some journalists, where he basically was like, these guys are killing people. And I don't know, then like all these different agencies and branches of government basically just like started investigating and coming after our company. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Wow.
Well, why didn't you say something then? I mean, they're screaming and cursing at them, supposedly. The Biden administration officials, because they wanted things removed from Facebook. So they're yelling and screaming at a private company to remove things.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is because they can't win the argument with anybody on the right. So they have to eliminate the right arguments from the public square. But where was Zuckerberg then? Why didn't he stand up then? Why didn't we hear all of this back in the day when we said, hey, I think the government is really pressuring all of these social media companies to censor their material? Oh, no, that's not happening. And now we find out 4 years later, sure enough, it was happening. And it was happening probably worse than we even knew at the time.
I mean, that's how Marxist governments work, Mark. And boy, he is...
he's a hypocrite.
Such a leader, am I right?
He's a hypocrite.
He is always out in front on everything, making sure to stand up to the bad guys.
Yeah.
Hey, what was the thing he said? They're getting rid of the DEI over at Meta as well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, a bunch of companies are doing that.
What if he got rid of the perm that he keeps getting?
Okay.
What if he did that? I think that's a good start right there. Hey, Mark, stop with the perm, okay?
That's not a good look.
That's not.
That's a great look, bro.
What are you, 12? I mean, come on. Are you making the transition?
He's
the gender transition? What are you doing? What is this? I don't know. It's adorable, though. I mean, I don't want to take that away from him. It is adorable. So he's working out. He's got a perm. He's coming around with some common sense.
Maybe the chemicals are resetting his brain.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
He does this time and time again, man. He's always the last one on the common sense train.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
And he just makes sure that everybody, he's never the first one to stick his toe into the water.
He'll happily jump on the bandwagon when he sees everything going that way.
He sees everyone swim from the shallow end to all the way to the deep end. Then he goes, yeah, you know what? I can do this.
Hey, that's right.
Ugh.
It pisses me off.
Yep.
And I'm sure the Winklevoss twins are a little upset with him as well.
You're gonna have to let that go. So why would the Winklevoss twins be upset at Mark Zuckerberg?
Because they would have run this thing differently had he not stolen their technology from them. So yeah. So they're a little pissed as well. I don't blame them, frankly. All right, the Sanctity of Life Month. We honor over the over 66 million babies now who have lost their lives tragically through abortion since Roe v. Wade. Even after Roe was overturned, babies' lives are at an even greater risk now, with over 60% of all abortions now being performed through the abortion pill. This devastating option is available on demand 24/7. But in the midst of this darkness, there is a light. Preborn has rescued over 300,000 babies from abortion, and every day, on average, they save another 200. When a woman considering abortion hears her baby's heartbeat or sees her baby's face on an ultrasound, the chance of choosing life doubles. Preborn offers free ultrasounds and shares God's love for both the mother and child. But they need your help in order to continue that life-saving work. For just $28, the cost of maybe a dinner, you can sponsor an ultrasound to introduce a mother to her baby for the very first time. Every penny of your donation goes directly to saving lives. So if you can help, please dial pound 250, say the keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Pat. That's preborn.com/Pat. Preborn has a 100% charity rating, so you can give with confidence.
And now, Pat Gray returns.
Yesterday, JD Vance joined Shannon Bream on Fox News, and they talked about the mess Donald Trump will be inheriting from Joe Biden. I hope they make a big deal out of this, because that's what the Biden administration said over and over and over, that they inherited such a terrible mess. That's what caused this rampant, out-of-control inflation that we finally got under control. No, untrue. I mean, the Obama administration blamed George W. Bush 8 years into their administration.
Yeah.
Incredible. But here's JD Vance on Shannon Bream's show.
I wish Joe Biden all the best, but the fact is he has left us dumpster fire, not just at the border, but also with the economy. First of all, we know that prices are way too high for many Americans. We have to work every single day to stabilize prices for American families. But Shannon, everything that he's bragging about ignores the fact that he has added trillions and trillions of dollars to the federal debt during a time of peace. He has left us with bond yields, meaning how are we going to finance that debt? We have to sell Treasury bonds. And the Treasury bonds have gotten more expensive because of Joe Biden's policies. So you go issue after issue. Oil prices are now shooting through the roof in the final 2 months of Joe Biden's administration, in part because of decisions that Joe Biden has made over the last few weeks. He actually hasn't left the American people in good economic condition. That's why they made Donald J. Trump the president-elect of the United States. So we've got a lot of work to do. I remain fundamentally, and you know this, Shannon, I'll always be an optimist about our country, but I think that optimism has to start with a bit of realism. And the real truth is that Joe Biden has left us a dumpster fire. Donald Trump is going to have to put it out, but he's good at doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything he said, but
me too.
I hope he's not. I hope you're up for the job, JD. I mean, our expectations are high, bro.
Yeah, yes, they are.
I mean, they're unfairly high, but they're high. And I don't need you saying, "Hey, it's gonna suck." No. I mean, by January 21st, I want to be paying. What's a good price? 50 cents for gas, y'all?
I'll take $1.
$1. Okay,
I could go $1.
Buck a gallon.
By Tuesday. By a week
That's
from
doable.
tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. That is doable.
Yeah.
Yes.
A dozen eggs for 75 cents.
You're saying by January 21st?
Yeah. By next Tuesday. I'll give them a day to get the prices down.
I'll even give them till close of business on next Tuesday.
Okay.
Like you get till 5 p.m. Eastern.
And my taxes, I want them to go down to 10%. Okay? If it's good enough for the Lord, it's good enough for the government.
I mean, that's
10%.
That was Herman Cain's 999 plan. I mean, said. I mean, don't get as much as God gets. No.
Yeah. Right.
So we're all in agreement, right? Because we got to stick to our guns, guys.
Yes.
Metaphorically speaking.
$1 for gas, 75 cents for eggs, and taxes 10%.
Okay, by January 25th.
By January 21st, 5 p.m.
Okay.
I will be super happy if he can do all those things.
Yes.
You know what? It's
super
funny.
happy.
I when I flip over my calendar over here, from one year to the next, sometimes I write little Post-it notes that, shocking, right? Post-it notes for me. And I found a Post-it note that said, and I don't know when this was, I didn't date it or anything like that, but apparently, and somebody can look this up, and I will later, Trump promised energy prices cut by half within a year.
Oh, yes, he did promise that. I remember that, yes.
Wow.
So
okay. I'm all about that.
So I'm putting this on December 2025.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Speaking of taxation, though, did you see Representative Earl Carter?
Yeah.
Introduced the Fair Tax Act of 2025.
HR 25.
It's aimed at abolishing the Internal Revenue Service.
Good.
Yes, please. Yes. Not only would the new act eliminate the IRS, if passed, it would also repeal the federal income tax. That would be phenomenal. So how do you fund government? Well, you fund it through purchases, through a sales tax of new items. So if I buy a new car, I pay a 23% tax. That's the tax he's proposing, 23%. So 23% is added on. You think, well, that's going to drive up the price. But it eliminates all of these, I'm sure you've heard this before. It eliminates all of the hidden taxation.
Yeah.
And your gross income is also your net income.
Yep.
Right? Which would be sweet. So you've got a lot more money to spend on things when you buy them. But it wouldn't apply to like a used car. You wouldn't pay the tax on a used car.
Just when it's new.
Yeah, just on new things. Like if you build a new house, you pay the tax. If you buy an existing house, you don't. At least that's the proposal in the past. I don't know if they're still...
Revenue neutral.
Yes.
I forgot, was it Greenspan? I think it was Greenspan, whoever the Fed chairman was at the time, signed off on that. Said that it was revenue neutral. But it also brings in, because the government always likes to talk about the illicit drug trade. I mean, that now they're getting taxed as well when they go and purchase something.
And
right?
the illegal
Not
aliens.
their income, and the illegal aliens, exactly.
They're
all paying at the store.
They can't dodge taxes. Because if you buy things, you pay the tax.
Yep. So would you rather the fair tax, which let me back up here. Back when John Linder was the congressman pushing this, you were definitely not a fan of it. Have you come around on it, or are you just, where are you now?
The reason I wasn't a fan of it before was because I didn't believe the IRS could be eliminated.
Okay.
And so what you would have is somebody would push it through anyway, and then you'd get both. And that's what I don't want to happen.
Yeah.
But that's what happens to us.
Got to do a constitutional amendment, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So if there's an administration that can eliminate the IRS, it's the second Trump administration.
It would be Trump.
But again, JD Vance, our expectations aren't ridiculously high at all. Just get rid of the IRS. So help me. I would love
and bring
to see
down
this.
prices like we already specified.
We would have said
Would you rather have the tariffs or the fair tax?
Fair tax.
Okay.
Yeah, and then do free trade. But you can't get everybody else to play along with free trade, apparently, even though they say, "Oh, we're big free traders." Are you? Then why are you taxing American goods at 150%?
Right?
Why does that happen if you're free traders? I mean, China is just so asinine with this, with their rhetoric. It's ridiculous.
So Buddy Carter already has 11 co-sponsors, for what that's worth.
Okay. Well, it's a start.
It's a start, right?
It's a start. I mean, this hasn't been discussed for a really long time. It's probably been 20 years since this was since a serious effort was made on this. I'd say, yeah. It was big when we were in Houston. Remember that?
20 years
really
ago.
Big.
Yeah.
And anytime you brought up fair tax, you'd get a deluge of free taxers calling and singing its praises. So I'd be all for it right now. If you can do 23%. I heard another one of the problems was that they started to say, well, 23% is not enough. It's going to have to be 32%, 34%. If you start at 32 or 34, where do you think that would end up? 50? Yeah, not about that. All right, let me be real with you for a second. How was your sleep in 2024? If it was brutal, and I'm not talking about just feeling tired, but the kind of tired that affects everything you do, your focus, your mood, your productivity. Honestly, by the time you get to work in the morning, if you're already counting down to the next time you can go to sleep, there's a problem there. You can wake up feeling refreshed, and you can get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up refreshed in the morning with Beam's Dream Powder. It's fantastic. Everything can change in your life. This stuff actually works. It's clinically proven. It's clinically backed and proven to help you get the deep, restful sleep that you've been missing. With Dream, you can finally start sleeping through the night and waking up feeling refreshed, not groggy, as you used to do. Dream contains a mix of all natural ingredients, things like reishi, magnesium, They also have melatonin in there, which work together to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and actually wake up ready to take on the day. So if you've been struggling with sleep, make it a New Year's resolution to fix that. Right now, you can get up to 40% off Beam's Dream Powder by going to shopbeam.com/Pat. Use the promo code Pat at checkout. That's shopbeam, B-E-A-M, shopbeam.com/Pat. Promo code Pat to get 40% off. Don't wait. Get the best sleep of your life this year.
Join the conversation online at Pat Unleashed. Pat Gray will return after this.
Got some tweets here. Frank Johnson's alter ego. So you expect us to believe that the largest social media company to ever exist didn't have the means to expose the government's corruption? Right. Yeah, that's what Mark Zuckerberg expects us to believe. Genderface, largest platform in the world, multi-billionaire who everyone wants to interview. Zuckerberg didn't have time to expose government censorship. He has to invent Threads and get a perm in case they revamp the Brady Bunch show.
Oh,
so true.
They're thinking about that, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Bringing something back.
Coming up, JD Vance was asked about the January 6th pardons. Said some interesting things. We'll get into that in a minute. First of all, let me tell you about the
yummy
Valentine box.
Oh, boy.
Yes,
from
here
Kexi
we
Cookies.
go.
Not available today, but I think a week from today we start.
Okay.
But pre-order begins.
Be
really
mine.
nice. Be mine.
Yeah.
It has this new delicious brownie in it with the strawberry topping.
delicious.
Oh my gosh, is that
What?
good? It's got the chocolate chips in it. And, so
that
good.
comes with the box.
Yeah.
Only in the box.
The red hot velvet cookie.
Yes.
I love this. Is one of my new favorites. It's really hard to pick because there's a lot of really good ones. Limited supply, so get them as soon as you can. All right. And it comes in this really cool Valentine's box. So,
what's this inside? Love you to crumbs?
Love you to crumbs. I'm not sure if that's an ode to crumble or.
I was just saying that. You trying to throw shade? Are you throwing?
I don't know.
Is Kexi throwing shade?
I think it's
to
another
everyone?
way
possible.
of saying pieces, right?
Yes,
It's a hip way
that's
of
what it
saying
is.
love you to pieces.
It's a cookie way to say I love you to pieces. Right, that's what it is.
Or just a cookie war that we're about to see in 2025. The Kexi cookie war.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, 888-900-3393. We got this JD Vance stuff we got to get into, and the January 6th thing. Hopefully 1 week from today, they pardon everybody from January 6th. We'll see about that. More coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
I don't know why that fits there, but it just kind of does, right?
It needs it. You have to do it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do it, so I had to do it for them. All right, 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. JD Vance said some things about the J6 pardons that raised some eyebrows, including mine. But here's what he had to say about the J6ers.
January 6th pardons, President Trump says there's a process. Where is the line drawn on who will and wouldn't be considered for a pardon?
I think it's very simple. Look, if you protested peacefully on January the 6th and you've had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. And there's a little bit of a gray area there, but we're very much committed to seeing the equal administration of law. And there are a lot of people, we think, in the wake of January the 6th who were prosecuted unfairly. We need to rectify that.
Yeah, we do. But you know what? Here's where I am now. Send them all home.
Yep.
All of them. Nonviolent, violent. For whatever violence you were responsible for, you've been in jail for 4 years now. Time to go home. Time served. Everybody go home. Everybody. Plus, and this isn't the exact application of this particular theory, but this is fruit from a poisoned tree.
Yes.
So none of them should be in jail now. None of them.
Yeah. I'm 100%.
I want a complete 100% pardon of these people.
I mean, the Department of Justice, the J6 Select Committee, they withheld evidence. If you did that in any other trial, that would be a mistrial, or you'd release that prisoner. You'd be like, okay, that was just like you said, fruit from a poison tree.
Yep.
No.
But it's all political. So I hope President Trump doesn't play that game. I hope he just lets them all go. I really do. But that sounds
a little concerning.
Concerning, yes.
And never mind the time served. They haven't, in many cases, not been given a punishment fits the crime. I mean, some of these individuals are in solitary confinement, sleeping on a floor, barely access to daylight.
Did you hear the interview Glenn did with one of the J6ers that was in prison for...
yes.
Oh, my gosh. He was in prison, I don't remember, 8 or 11 months or something. And 4 of those months were in solitary confinement. And he described the hellish conditions that he had to face. I mean, that's insane. Plus, he wasn't violent. It's asinine. And then some of these people have been sentenced to 20-plus years in prison.
Yeah. In fact, yesterday when he said this, I was looking up. I asked Grok, who's the worst one? Who was the worst offender? And it came up with the Proud Boys guy who wasn't even there.
Oh, yeah, he was
you gotta be kidding me.
In other words...
the guy who was in Baltimore at the time, right?
Right. But where's the trials for Michael Byrd for killing Ashley Babbitt, right?
Right.
Where's that trial? I want to see that guy prosecuted. Or Nancy Pelosi for letting it happen. Now, if you have Antifa members that were there breaking windows, maybe you revisit those. But the blue hairs walking around with a Trump flag, parading and milling, stop it.
Yeah, parading and milling.
It's just...
those are not offenses.
It's un-American. It's cruel and unusual.
And when did the Capitol building not become the People's Building? When was that verboten for us to enter? The whole thing sucks.
Yeah.
From start to finish. And a lot of these, like you said, the blue hairs, many of them didn't even go into the building and they've been sentenced. Hunted down like hideous criminals, like drug dealers or terrorists, and then tossed in jail for months or years. Yeah, there needs to be a blanket pardon for all of them.
And you know what? I'm willing to sacrifice the Antifa types that were there if it gets all of the J6 prisoners freed.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, seriously.
Yep.
So it's and the violence, by the way, how much of it was just self-defense, just trying to survive?
Definitely
because,
some of it was.
Somebody didn't survive all of that onslaught from the police. Do we have this? Because they're just now, more videos are being released from J6. I'd love this. Play 15. What's the name of this organization?
1:17 p.m. A second wave of DC Metropolitan Police officers show up on the east side of the Capitol. They are the first to bring in explosive ammunition rounds that they will soon distribute to officers on the West Plaza. Officer Tara Tyndall is crouched on the ground, readying CS gas rounds.
Remember her. Why are they doing this? Why? We've talked about this with Steve Baker.
Commander Officer Robert Glover gives the first audible authorization to deploy explosives into the crowd.
But why? What are we doing? He's just lobbing sight unseen.
Yeah.
Stingbar deployed! Stingbar deployed!
They're standing down there. The hell country is this?
Look at that. Okay, that's provocation by the police right there. They're not doing anything wrong. Why are you doing this? Wow.
Chucking grenades.
Jeez. Wow.
Chucking grenades at us.
Oh, why? Yeah.
Why?
Again, this is stuff that was withheld. That's not a fair trial.
No, it's not. Wow. And here's more video of Capitol Police.
Yeah, this is from the other perspective here.
All right.
Watch this here. Okay, so remember the lady with the canisters? That I believe that's up here. Yeah, see that? See, the photographer for the Capitol Police.
Mm-hmm.
We just played his video. So it's clear that the police saw that they're just standing there doing
they
nothing.
weren't rioting at the time.
So we've got put the picture up there. So look at this. See, she's shooting into there again.
Yeah.
What the hell? Not America, man.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Release them all.
I mean, when this happened in 1970 at Kent State, it was the government who was blamed because it was the government who shot and killed 4 people. Thus, the 4 Dead in Ohio song from Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. People weren't blaming the protesters at that time. Why are we blaming the protesters now? It wasn't live ammunition, obviously, but they're shooting at them. They're shooting canisters of gas at them for no reason. They weren't being violent out there.
And if we live in a country where you can do a blanket pardon that covers about 15 years for the president's son, then you sure as hell can do a blanket pardon for all J6ers.
Yes. He's already provided Trump with that cover. So I sure hope he uses it. Are you kidding me? Joe Biden can pardon his son for 15 years of stuff he may have done or did do, but we can't pardon people who milled and paraded in the U.S. Capitol. All right. So last night, 60 Minutes sat down with outgoing FBI Director Christopher Wray, who explained truth for us. So this is good.
The FBI director is being forced out by President-elect Trump.
No, he's retiring.
Christopher Wray spoke with us about imminent security threats most Americans don't know about and the investigations that made Trump and Biden livid.
Investigations have to be driven by the facts and the law, not by the outcome somebody wants it to have. Truth is truth, not necessarily what either side wants it to be.
I can't believe he's saying this. Have you investigated?
Isn't that ironic from him? Coming from him. That is ironic.
Things that this FBI has done under his 8-year watch.
Yeah. Incredible.
The truth is truth. May not be the outcome you want. I can't. This.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
And of course, they also talked about
the biggest threat America's facing.
Well, yeah, and you would have thought it was J6 based on the prosecutions. And
you
how
sure would.
The FBI and the Department of Justice in general went after J6ers, but no, I guess it's not actually. It's something else. Can you believe it?
All right.
China's cyber program is by far and away the world's largest, bigger than that of every major nation combined. And has stolen more of Americans' personal and corporate data than that of every nation, big or small, combined. But even beyond the cyber theft, there's another part of the Chinese cyber threat that I think has not gotten the attention publicly that it, I think, desperately deserves, and that is Chinese government's pre-positioning on American civilian critical infrastructure to lie in wait on those networks, to be in a position to wreak havoc and can inflict real-world harm at a time and place of their choosing.
The Chinese have already insinuated malware into critical American infrastructure.
That's correct.
Like what?
Things like water treatment plants. We're talking about transportation systems. We're talking about targeting of our energy sector, the electric grid, natural gas pipelines. And recently, we've seen targeting of our telecommunications system.
Wow.
I can't. Pat, he just said it's not getting the attention it deserves. It's the biggest threat we face. Gee, man, it's just a shame that Christopher Wray isn't in a position to do something about that.
Yeah, I know. What have you done? You know about it.
Tell us.
And now you're just whining about it?
But again,
do something. Hey, how about going after Chinese spies and hacking rather than white supremacists? How about that? Rather than MAGA Republicans or parents who show up at a city council meeting or a school board meeting.
Yeah, how about you protect the whistleblowers in your ranks that try to warn you of what's happening? Steve Friend comes to mind. And as that 60 Minutes report last night pointed out, the biggest operation in FBI history, not to stop China that's embedded in apparently our water systems and computers and ready to flip a switch with malware. No, it was going after J6ers.
Amazing.
He's gone.
Amazing.
So bring in Kash Patel.
Yeah. Can't happen soon enough. There's a silent health threat that affects 1 in 3 Americans. You aware of it? It's an overworked, sluggish liver. That affects your weight, your energy levels, clear thinking, productivity, even your sleep. And it can also lead to heart problems. You don't want none of that. Our livers are getting bombarded every single day with GMOs and microplastics, toxins, all of this stuff that you might not even know about. If you or your husband or your brother, your friend, feels sluggish, drained, and you can't seem to get rid of those few extra pounds, let me recommend trying the Liver Health Formula and see the benefits for yourself. It's a premium supplement designed with 11 clinically proven botanicals to support and detoxify your liver. Helps you feel revitalized and ready to conquer every day. This company's already helped more than 2 million people. Just listen to what Mr. Harrington had to say about it. He shared his transformative journey. He said, at first I was skeptical, but the health improvement has been nothing but amazing. The tired, foggy feeling I had is gone, and I have more energy now for a longer duration. Also, the service and delivery is always prompt. Of course, results are not necessarily typical. You got to see for yourself. There's an exclusive deal right now for my viewers. You can try Liver Health Formula, and as a special offer, get a free 1-month supply of nano-powered omega-3s with your order. Try Liver Health Formula by going to getliverhelp.com/Pat. Getliverhelp.com/Pat. Claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
So the Democrat Party's still licking their wounds from their losses in November. So Senate Democrats made a video to show how hard they're out there working for you right now.
They're just like you. They're so personable.
Oh, yeah.
Like me here. Okay.
Okay. How's my tie? Is it okay?
That's
Going
good.
straight?
Here we go. We're different.
Wisconsin.
Rhode Island.
Hawaii.
New York.
From the Great Lakes.
To the Mountain West.
The Pacific Northwest.
To the South.
And the Northeast. Coast to coast. We have differences.
And some disagreements. But Senate Democrats are fiercely united on this.
We are not here because of who we are against. We are here because of who we are for.
Every one of
Oh,
us
my.
was elected to fight for working Americans.
For American families.
For you.
For you. For you.
Oh, you love that.
We're here to make housing
I
more
do.
affordable.
I love that.
To help
Working Americans keep more of their hard-earned paychecks. To lower the cost of child care.
prescription drugs.
And yes, groceries.
To help small businesses thrive.
And every child have a safe and great public education.
We are here to fight.
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 To
Fight.
for America.
Fight.
We will work
Fight.
with anyone.
Anyone.
If they want to make life better for you.
It's so ridiculous.
Donald Trump and Senate Republicans.
Do things to hurt you.
We will fight.
We
Fight. Fight.
If they come after
Violent
affordable
rhetoric.
health care.
What'll
if
you
they
do?
pursue policies that
will you
drive
fight?
up costs.
If they ignore the threat of climate change.
Oh my
if they
gosh.
come after
I
our
can't
troops
take it.
and veterans benefits.
Oh,
if they
yeah.
take
That's
away access to
likely.
reproductive rights, attack our
Shut
basic
up.
freedoms.
If they try to enrich their friends.
Yeah,
if they
I can't
pay
take
for
it.
tax cuts for the wealthy by coming after your paycheck.
Read it.
Your Social Security,
But
your
come after
Medicare.
my paycheck.
They will
Hey,
have to come through us. Through us.
Through us.
This is a new Congress. It is a new day.
We are united.
All right.
Determined. Ready.
The 119th
You're pathetic,
Congress
is what you are.
has begun.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's go.
How
Let's go.
inspiring
Let's
that
get to
is.
work.
Let's go.
Okay.
Fight.
Let's go.
Let's
Fight.
go.
Fight.
Let's
Anyone.
get started.
Anyone. 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 I hate that. So ridiculous. Oh my God. They've caused all of these problems and now they're the big solution? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Democrats.
Let's mix in us saying fight, fight, fight. That worked for Trump.
Yeah.
So I bet we could do that too. It's just, the same party that says, the word target is violent rhetoric.
Yeah.
But these people are just. That was only about a handful. That was only like 10 of the Senate Democrats. I wish there were only
But those 10 are
Senate
united.
Yeah.
Keith, they're united. And if they're going to if they're going to get tax cuts for the rich by coming after our paychecks, they're going to have to go through them. Wait, even if they gave tax cuts only to the rich, which they never have, the Trump tax cuts benefited every single American who pays taxes. But let's say they only gave them to the wealthy. How does that take anything out of my paycheck? That just takes less out of theirs. I can't with these people. It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, Israel was caught off guard by Hamas flexibility in the hostage deal talks.
This is awesome. What do you think caused that? Anything happening in the world that maybe...
There's some flexibility now with Hamas? What changed? Because they weren't flexible before.
No.
Am I right?
No.
Do I have that down?
You got it down. Something's changed. I can't put my finger on it.
Hamas's unexpected flexibility during negotiations for a hostage deal and ceasefire in Gaza surprised Israeli delegates. A source from Hamas told Saudi news outlet Asharq on Saturday.
Oh, you love Asharq?
Oh, I don't miss a single edition. We're close to announcing an agreement and a hostage deal, said a source close to the who's familiar with the negotiations. But this hinges on Israel's awaited response. If no new Israeli conditions are introduced, the agreement will be ready for announcement through the mediators, referring to Egypt, Qatar, and the United States. I wonder, this certainly has nothing to do with Donald Trump saying there would be dire consequences if they don't release those hostages by the time he takes office. I'm sure that had nothing to do with this and their newfound flexibility. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, apparently.
How just the threat.
I love it. I mean, that's
so great.
That's awesome. And hold on, we got
breaking news.
Really, this just happened?
Just happened. Israel and Hamas reach a breakthrough in hostage and ceasefire negotiation talk overnight.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
That's
good.
so great.
According to the negotiations.
So, are all hostages going to be released?
I don't know, but it says they're confirming that prisoners being held in the Gaza Strip will soon be freed. Don't know what that means.
Well, it means all prisoners will be freed. It sounds like. Right?
So,
that's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like, exactly.
So the update I have here says Israel officials tell media hostage deal is close, awaiting final Hamas approval. I think you approve whatever they put in front of you at this point, Hamas.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
Don't drag your feet. And so the next breaking news I want to hear is Ukraine and Russia are done.
Right?
Yes. And that could happen. Certainly shortly after he takes office. I expect that to happen too. That'd be great. And something else that could happen very soon. The acquisition of Greenland.
Yes.
Let's go. I'm so in.
That could really happen. Denmark is reportedly open to discussing a more prominent role for the United States in Greenland. They're saying it's going to be short of completely selling the island to us, but who knows? Who knows? The Danish government is trying to avoid a public dispute with the Trump administration over the future of Greenland. While Denmark is against selling it to the U.S., Danish officials have sent messages to Trump officials offering discussions on a new partnership in Greenland's future. That's amazing.
I'm telling you,
that is amazing.
Carrot and the stick's got to be NATO. We got to be closer to really adequately protect y'all.
Right.
Right. I want to go to Greenland without having to go with a passport. I just want to get my ID checked at the terminal and go to Greenland.
Do you go to Greenland a lot?
You know what?
He's about to start.
I'm about to start that journey.
Okay.
I think it was,
and who could blame you? Who could blame you? Because what a fun vacation getaway that would be. I assume.
I hear some sarcasm.
I seriously. Hold on. Somebody look this up. What time is it in Greenland? What time is Greenland?
Yeah, you got to be a couple hours ahead of us. 2 or 3.
11:57, so 4 hours forward.
Oh, yeah. 4 hours.
3 hours ahead of New York.
Wow. Okay. So we got Greenland. What about Canada? It's the 51st state. Is that progressing? You know, what I love is the left and the Canadians and their response to this. That is just Trump hyperbole.
Yes.
The Greenland thing is real.
Well,
yes,
that's real stuff.
Even the Canada thing might turn into some sort of agreement over defense or something. I don't know. I mean, I thought we had NORAD,
but I'm also curious about the Gulf of America.
I want to know about the Gulf of
America. Would you prefer Gulf of
America
or American Gulf? Which would you prefer?
Gulf of America.
Gulf of America?
Yeah.
There's been some back and forth on that because we got to be changing the maps. Yeah. We got to all agree, right? So
do we have to all agree, or do we just have to follow what America says?
You know, we like we said earlier, we've got high expectations for this administration. But if what Christopher Wray, derelict in his duty, is right, China could just derail everything like they did with COVID at the flip of a switch. Be like, oh, look at that! You can't drink clean water anymore. How's that taste? And then they're calling the shots. They could. I mean, this administration could get distracted by something major like that.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat, man.
They're already setting it up.
Yeah. Some
new pandemic that could sweep the planet.
True.
Apparently, China's already got something circulating.
Yeah. Well, I want to know Dr. Fauci's travel records. When's the last time he was over there?
Yeah. And let's look into the bat soup. Is that being distributed all over the world now?
Sure.
Because remember the havoc that caused last time.
The
bat soup.
Well, you know who should be leading the charge, though, to get Greenland? Guys, it's got to be the NFL. Because you know that this would make it easier for them. They want to put teams in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've got a lot
Greenland
of money, too.
Considered part of Europe? I believe it is.
They've got a lot of money, too.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get the NFL involved in this negotiation.
All right. 888-900-3393. We got overtime coming up.
What are we going to talk about, Chris? Oh, we got to play
Chris and Keith will be doing overtime today.
Got to play footage from North Carolina. It's absolutely devastating what's still happening there.
Meanwhile, I'll be filling in for Glenn today. By the way, keep him in your thoughts and prayers if you could today. We'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.